what radar is showing us, and based on what the atmosphere is showing us, the atmospheric conditions are very, very favorable for tornadoes. Any other word on this storm?
Nothing on that storm, but I'm watching that storm in Weakley County, Grant, and it's definitely tightening up
here.
here.
Is.
So that is something that we're definitely going to need to keep a close eye on. Again, let me pan out here so I know we're kind of moving all over the place so you can get your bearings of what we're talking about. Again, this is on the southeastern edge of our viewing area. Here's Weakley County. Here's that storm. And just in the last, say, 5 minutes, it's really starting to show some tight signs of rotation as well. Some very strong winds with this too. I wouldn't be surprised if we had a tornado warning with this shortly. As of right now, we're just going with the severe thunderstorm warning, and they have just now issued that a tornado, of course, is possible with this. So they said they're checking in on that storm in Weakley County right now. So technically that rotation is just outside of our viewing area, but we want to let folks know. If I back this up, kind of show you over the last hour or so, really had strong rotation with it for some time now, but it's kind of moving off. Wanted to show you this direction too. So it's kind of moving off to the east-northeast. So what will probably happen is it will clip parts of Weakley County again, move into McKenzie, and then officially be out of our viewing area as it continues on and moves into Henry County.
All right, good eye. That is definitely something else we need to monitor closely. And if we get a warning on that, we will take you to that. But again, that's going to clip the far, far southeastern parts of Weakley County. Here's our tornado warning, and this is in New Madrid County again. Let's take a look, see if we have an updated look at the velocity. It's looking about the same. We're still seeing a pretty good sign of a tornado right here. Again, this is to the east now of Parma and to the south of Como. We continue to track this closely as it's going to be moving off to the east. So for you folks along State Highway D, this is headed your way. The intersection of State Highway W and State Highway D. This storm is going to be moving your way over the next 15, 20 minutes or so. You definitely want to be in your safe spot. Get in the basement if you have a basement. If you don't have a basement, get to that lowest level on your house, lowest level, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I'm seeing some pictures of damage in one of our monitors. So this is west of Naylor, so we did have a little bit of damage. Okay, and we did have, this was a tornado warning with this storm. This was the part in southern Butler County, and so we're getting some first reports of some damage. I seriously doubt it will be the last reports of damage that we get this evening as we continue to track the severe weather across the heartland. Hopefully everybody was okay. We haven't had any reports of any injuries that we know of, and hopefully that trend continues, because that's one of the reasons why we want to make sure we're on the air to help keep you safe during this event. We don't want anybody getting hurt, much less killed. We don't want anybody getting hurt. So we're going to stay on the air to try to keep you as safe as possible throughout this severe weather event. So let's head back to Max 1. Boy, that just tightened up one more time. We got a new tornado warning out. Let me take a look and see where this tornado warning is. I wonder if it's the Weakley County. No, it's just kind of extending this tornado warning. And this does include the New Madrid area. It's going into the rest of New Madrid County. It clips Fulton County, Kentucky, the part of Fulton County, Kentucky that's cut off from the rest of Kentucky with the Mississippi River, and then the other part of just to the west of Hickman. So we do have a tornado warning now for the remainder of New Madrid County as this is moving off to the east. Very strong sign of a tornado right here, moving around just to the south of Como. It's not quite as intense as it was. The winds are not quite as tight as they were, and hopefully that is a good trend, and that trend will continue, because if that was as tight when it goes through the city of New Madrid, I would imagine we would have some issues. And we're still seeing some pretty tight circulation, but it's not as tight as it was. So let's extend things out. It's now after 10:30. If you were tuning in to see the Heartland News at 10, of course, we had to preempt that because of the severe weather. We've had a lot of rain again across the area, so we've got flash flooding concerns. Again, this is something new. All the model data we were looking at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, nothing was painting 3 to 4 inches of rain anymore in our area. Remember a few days ago, in the middle of last week, we were looking at widespread flooding. Well, it pushed all that heavy rain off to the south. Well, things changed today with this low pressure that's developing, and it brought the warm, moist air farther north, and that's what set the stage for severe weather and these thunderstorms that produce an awful lot of rain. So we will continue to see the possibility of flooding concerns across southern Illinois and southeastern Missouri across the area. Now, I see that, is that the storm you're looking at going into Weakley County?
Yes.
And what is that the CC that you're looking at?
Yeah, this is our actual debris detection
that's the debris,
right
okay.
now. But I think that's still behind the best rotation, so I don't think we're necessarily getting debris with that, but I'd like to see it just one more scan because, well, there was our new update, which...
yeah, it doesn't look as...
No.
Yeah. But hey, you know, it's good to keep an eye on it. And again, that's going to go towards the extreme southeastern part of Weakley County. That's the storm she's talking about right there. Our storm we're talking about here, very, very intense, moving into the New Madrid area. So let's kind of zoom into that. And we'll take a look at the storm that's moving through the Dexter area and moving out of Dexter right now. That has the possibility of some strong winds as well and maybe some hail. And it's this storm right here. That had a pretty good hail core earlier with it. I want to see the winds inside. And it looks to be behaving. And so does this new storm south of Puxico. This storm, again, that's our possible tornado just to the south of Como. New update shows it looks like an even tighter circulation. Well, let's zoom in and we'll get a closer look at this as we continue to track the threat of a possible tornado in New Madrid County. Again, we did have a report of a tornado with this when it was near Parma, and this is moving to the south and east of Como. And it's going right along State Highway D, right near the intersection of State Highway D and State Highway W in New Madrid County. And you can see here's the very heavy rain and hail that's falling with it. And more than likely, you're not going to be able to see this tornado. That's why we don't want you going outside looking for it, because it appears as though it's going to be rain wrapped right now. There's that tight circulation. It has tightened up just a bit as it is moving in towards New Madrid County, and it is headed towards the New Madrid area, basically. So let's kind of back things up, because I know we've got that's one of our an area where we have more population, and we could unfortunately have some issues if we have a tornado on the ground and move into that area. So here's New Madrid. There's the possible tornado. Let's change things over. We'll take a look at the velocity so we can actually see that. So New Madrid right here. Here is the that is right there is the tornado. And I want to do something here. I want to back away. I'm going to put this into motion as well, because we're going to track this and see if there's any variance to the whether it's going north of east or east. And so let's take a look at it over the last hour. And we're going to back things up, and we'll see it is moving ever so slightly north of east. You can see right here is where it was the strongest. And then that's probably where we got the report of the tornado on the ground. It was still strong here as it went south of Como. It weakened right there. That was the last scan. And the latest scan, it looks like it's tightening up again. And so this would take it just to the north of New Madrid, the way it is right now. On the north side of New Madrid is what I think this circulation would do. And they do have the tornado confirmed warning out on the storm as it was in the Risco area and Parma area. They do not have it confirmed with the new warning, but not to say that it won't be. So there's our, what were you saying, Laura?
A couple of reports to pass along with that storm. This one likely happening maybe about an hour ago or so. I'm guessing it's from Culin, and they had part of their roof come off, they said. That's with that same storm. So again, that was maybe just under an hour ago with that storm. Also a report from law enforcement in Dunklin County from some thunderstorm wind damage, that an empty rail car was blown over as that storm moved through in Dunklin County, just close to Malden.
Wow, so that's some pretty strong winds there, folks. We've got tornado watch out until 1 o'clock in the morning for the yellow shaded counties you see here. We've got a couple of warnings in our area. One, a tornado warning. The other one is a severe thunderstorm warning. So let's zoom in. And of course, we do have some flash flood warnings as well. We don't want to discount those because, especially at night, driving into flooded roadways can be deadly. So you come to water over the roadway. What do? You turn around, you don't drown, don't go through flooded roadways. You don't know, one, how deep it is, or two, if the road's even still there. A lot of times these roads wash out. And if you're driving around thinking the road's there, then all of a sudden it's not. Your car drops 4 or 5 feet. You're gone. Don't drive away across flooded roadways. Here we go. We got that tornado warning out now for New Madrid County. We will probably see the warning for the western part of New Madrid County canceled here in just a second because it's moved out of that location. We're getting a lot more thunderstorm activity across a good bit of the area from Marion down towards Perry County, northern Cape Girardeau County, Bollinger County. We just got a new flash flood warning out for all of Bollinger County. So again, areas along the Whitewater, those low water bridge crossings, I'm sure they're flooded. There's a lot of low water bridge crossings around the Castor River Valley that goes through the Bollinger County area. I'm sure that they are impassable as well right now. So you definitely don't want to be driving across those flooded roadways. We are having a lot more rain than we were anticipating just a couple of days ago because of these extremely intense thunderstorms. And here it is right here moving across State Highway D. State Highway D moving towards New Madrid. You can see there's the possibility of a tornado. Now the rotation is not as strong as it was. It looks like we're getting a new rotation actually forming on the south side. This was the original rotation that's moving right here across State Highway D. This is beginning to look a little tighter now, just east of Risco on this new, I wonder if we got a new updraft forming right there. And if so, we're going to have to watch that closely. Let's take a look. I'll change sources here, and I can tell if we have a growing thunderstorm. And we've got an updraft right there. That brighter red tells us we've got an updraft developing. And when we take a look at it in correlation with the shear, that's where our new rotation could be forming. So we'll have to watch that. Right now, this is the old tornado that we saw near Parma and near Como. This is that rotation that was the tornado. It has weakened just a bit. But we have to monitor this closely because we may be seeing a new tornado developing. This one, if it develops, would move right into New Madrid. So we're going to watch this very, very closely over the next few minutes. Again, this circulation, it would make sense. It's rain wrapped, and that means it's moving into some colder air. And a lot of times that will cause the circulations to weaken and dissipate. And we get new circulations that will develop on the south side of the storm, and that's what it looks like is trying to happen. So that's something we're going to watch over the next 5 to 10 minutes to see if that trend continues. There's that other strong storm that we're watching east of Dexter, another one to the west of Dexter. This is getting a little bit of an inflow notch, so let's take a look at this on the wind speeds. We're not seeing much in the way of rotation here, and again, these storms are more than likely what we call elevated, which means that the tornado threat would be shut off because you can't get in contact with the surface when the storms are forming in the elevated air mass rather than the surface air mass. So still could see some hail, and they could become severe. We're probably seeing a good bit of lightning with these as well. We'll put the lightning display on, and as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of lightning with this from Dudley over towards Dexter and whatnot as this continues over towards the Sikeston area. Very heavy rainfall as well, something we definitely do not need. So let's take a look. We're going to switch things over to the reflectivity again, and we're going to go take a look at our tornado warned storm. We've got one tornado warning in our area right now, and it's headed towards the New Madrid area. And we are watching to see if we get a new circulation on the southwest end of this. Here's the original circulation crossing State Highway D. It looks much weaker now, so we may not have a tornado with it at this point. Our new circulation really doesn't appear strong enough to have a tornado with it as well, but it is just now developing across the area. So we may see a new tornado develop in New Madrid County right along basically Highway 62, and it would head towards the New Madrid area and cross I-55 pretty close to there if this does develop. So that's something we're going to be monitoring over the next few minutes. Whether we get a new circulation to develop. We just got an update, I think, on the velocity, so I'm going to take a look at it with the storm motion. And we're still seeing a little bit of a circulation right there, not much, and we're seeing a little circulation right here. So things are beginning to improve the way it looks right now with this area that is moving towards New Madrid, but we don't want to let our guard down just yet. Laura's watching this storm real closely. It keeps showing signs of rotation, but it looks like that rotation would probably stay just outside of Weakley County. We've got a lot of flooding concerns across parts of western Kentucky, mainly outside our area, but you can see that Crittenden County is under a flash flood warning. We also have Harding County and parts of Pope County stretching back towards Union County in southern Illinois under flash flood warnings. We have Bullinger County, which is probably a lot to do with the fact that both the Whitewater River and the Castor River are probably out of their banks right now with all the runoff headed into those areas. And we have flash flood warnings out for Stoddard County, parts of Scott County as well. Tornado warning out for parts of New Madrid County. Laura, are you seeing anything? I'm going to give you a minute to check up on some things. I'm going to catch my breath here real quick.
Yes. Not seeing anything new, so that is great news. I've been keeping an eye on kind of all the other storms in the heartland right now. We have been watching this storm, and it still looks very ominous. Look at that hook.
Is amazing.
Again, I know it's just outside of our viewing area, but I know many of you may have friends or family that's right outside. So I am going, let me check into that. You know, surprisingly, the velocity is not quite as impressive as it was earlier, even though that hook is really shaping to be very impressive on radar. But that is moving off to the northeast. So again, it is completely out of the viewing area. Officially, our stops at Weakley County in Tennessee there, but McKenzie now safe as well. So this will be tracking this way, headed towards Big Sandy, just to kind of give you that first alert if you do have family and friends there. So for us in our viewing area, we are not concerned with that storm much anymore. Of course, this storm still has that tornado warning. I believe that goes out
11:15.
11:15, so still another 30 minutes left on that storm. It's trying, but nothing like what it looked like when it was moving through the Malden area and into Parma. So that is good news right now. We hope it's not just taking a break and it's going to get back going, but we're going to keep a close eye on that. Also, Grant was mentioning the flooding issues. I do think that is going to be a big concern, unfortunately, as we continue through the nighttime hours. I want to show you just how much rainfall we've received over just the last 24 hours. So the bright blues, that's 1 to 2, even closer to that 2.5 inch mark where you get to the bright blues. And then inside those bright blues, there's some pockets of purple. You can kind of see that line stretches straight across Kentucky back into just, northern portions of Stoddard County, southern portions of Bullinger County. Those little pockets of purple, that's in some cases 3 to 4 inches of rainfall, again, just in the last 24 hours. So just from the storms last night, this morning, and now from the storms now. And in some of those places, it is still raining. So yeah, that's going to be an issue. Even though the flash flood warnings may not be there when you wake up tomorrow morning, still keep that in mind, that especially if you are in an area or traveling to an area that's highlighted in this bright green right now, keep that in mind that you may have an issue even into tomorrow morning as well. So let's take a closer look at these storms now in Stoddard County, Mississippi County, New Madrid County. I'm going to put the just look inside those storms real quick, and things are still behaving with those storms up towards Dexter. That New Madrid storm still showing signs of rotation, but it is not nearly as strong or nearly as tight as what we saw earlier. But as Grant was mentioning, it's kind of trying to recirculate possibly. And if it does, it will be pushing over I-55 here very shortly and then moving towards New Madrid as it's starting to take kind of more of an east-northeasterly track. So that storm could be cause for concern as we move even deeper into the night. Elsewhere, guys, this is good news. We're not seeing much, a lot less activity on radar. This batch of rainfall is getting ready to push east of the heartland. Then we'll just have some scattered storms, a lot of those elevated storms. So still could hear some thunder and lightning that may keep you up, some tiny hail possible, but nothing like the large baseball-size hail we were seeing earlier with some of our storms, and nothing like the rotation we've seen earlier as well. So let's keep our fingers crossed, Grant, and hope that continues.
Yeah, and this one storm, we're still watching the back end to see if we're getting a new circulation that's trying to develop to the west of New Madrid. Again, this storm has done a lot of, it's had a lot of issues. We've seen some damage all along from the Culin area down towards Neelyville. We've had some really large hail with it at times. We've had a possibility of a tornado. We've had a railroad car blown off the tracks with this. Just a lot of activity with this one storm. Earlier we did get, like Laura was saying, one of the storms produced baseball-sized hail in Wayne County. That was that time we showed you that really big hail signature on the radar. So let's see what's going on with the New Madrid County storm. Again, this warning goes out until 11:15. Yeah, 11:15. So we still got about another 30 minutes on this. But if the rotation continues to weaken, then we may toss things back to regular programming a little before then. But I want to, before I do that, keep monitoring the back end here, because what it looks like has happened is the original circulation has decreased. This is where the original circulation was. That was the tornado that went near the Como area, Palmer. Well, this is where it would be right now. The new circulation looks like it's still trying to form to the southwest of New Madrid. We'll zoom in even farther. It's not all that impressive. It's not all that tight, but if it were to spin up pretty quickly, it'd be moving right across one of our higher populated areas, Howardville over towards Lilburn and of course New Madrid area. So we're going to watch this closely for the next 5 to 10 minutes to see if this doesn't spin up, because if it spins up, we could have a pretty big concern in the New Madrid area. Again, if New Madrid, you're officially under that tornado warning. Again, everybody in this area should be in their safe spot right now. Just to be on the safe side, that's a basement. Again, if you have it. If you don't have it, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible by going to that lowest level of your home and finding that interior closet or that interior bathroom to protect you from flying debris in case there is anything on the ground. Again, our original circulation to be in this general area right here. It has become rain wrapped and it looks like it's pretty much dissolved. What we're looking at now is the back edge of this storm. A new updraft was being indicated near Howardville, and we could be seeing a new circulation trying to develop on the southwest side of the storm. And we are seeing that is the updraft. We got what we call a ZDR ring. That is the updraft itself, and there's the hail core with that new updraft. So we are seeing a new updraft in association with this weak rotation that's trying to form. And so how tornadoes form is you start off with that weak rotation and it gets underneath an updraft, and as that air stretches it upwards, it causes the circulation to intensify rapidly. So whenever we see little weak circulations in conjunction with an area of growing height in the storm, then there's concern that we could see another developing tornado. But right now, we are not seeing that in the Howardville area. We're just seeing some weak rotation and a possibility of some heavy downpours and some gusty winds, maybe some hail. But the overall tornado threat at this time is looking a little less and less with this storm. So let's pan things out. We'll take a look at the entire area. Again, we've got this tornado warning that goes out for another 20 minutes, but we're not going to stay with it for 20 minutes if we're not seeing anything that looks like a tornado at this time. Of course, if we do get anything that looks like a tornado, we will jump in quickly to help you. Boy, that's I got to tell you what Wibbs is zooming up on in Tennessee. I know that's out of our area, but that's a true donut hole. Mm-hmm. That's a tornado.
Yeah, we're getting debris from it too. Yeah.
So, and again, if you know anybody that is east of McNeese, this thing right here has got it's not in our official viewing area, but it is very impressive on radar with the structure. And what we call by the donut hole is you see that little void right there. The rain's being wrapped totally around it, and you'll see that rotation right there. And yeah, so again, that's not in our area. This is Weakley County. That's the storm we've been talking about. This is Weakley County. This is well east of you, Weakley County, so you don't have to be concerned with that storm right now. So no more reports, I guess, from the storm in New Madrid. Are they chatting about it in the Weather Service? Are they given an issuance time on that that warning? They thinking they're going to cancel it early, Laura?
They have not said anything, no.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll stay with it for just a minute, but I'm going to be throwing things back to the regular scheduled program in about 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm telling this not only to you, but for our folks in the control room so they hear me and they know what our plan is. I want to scope these storms one more time to make sure that all the rotation that we see is not there, and then let things go back to the regular scheduled program. And of course, if we do see anything, we'll jump back in. Here's Weakley County. I want to take a look at this storm real quick before we throw things back. And we're seeing some gusty winds, but we're not seeing anything severe with that storm at this time. So that's definitely some great news. Well, let's go to the New Madrid County storm again, and we'll take a look at the latest wind data for that storm as it's moving off to the east. And you can see it's right here, and we'll zoom in to see if we see any stronger circulations trying to form right over New Madrid. And as of right now, we don't. We do see a weak rotation, but it doesn't look like it would be a tornado at this time. So that's some good news. Headed into New Madrid, we'll see some gusty winds, the possibility of some hail, but right now we're not seeing anything in the way that would indicate the possibility of a tornado. Let's zoom out just a little farther. We'll take a look at some storms up to the north, make sure everybody's okay with these that are over towards Stoddard County. Again, we've got some flash flooding going on in parts of the area, but this storm we're going to watch closely as it's in an area, more than likely it's elevated just to the north of Matthews, but we'll take a look at the winds in that storm, and thankfully, we're not seeing anything that looks like a tornado. And I want to tell you some good news also. Take a look at the tornado watch. A good bit of the tornado watch has been trimmed back across southeast Missouri and parts of southern Illinois, and we expect that trend to continue. So, with that said, the storm in New Madrid, we've got our eyes on it right now. It does not look like there's a tornado with it. If it does spin up again, we'll be right back on. The tornado warning goes out for about another 15 to 20 minutes. I do anticipate them to cancel it either early or just let it expire. But we're going to throw things back to your regular programming for right now. And if that storm starts to tighten up once again, we'll jump right on to keep you safe.